The rain-slicked alley behind the majestic theater reeked of stale garbage and wet asphalt, the kind of scent that clung to your skin like a bad memory. Detective Riley Hayes wiped the drizzle from her face with the back of her gloved hand, her breath coming in sharp, frustrated bursts that fogged the chill November air. She was 35, built like she could bench press a suspect without breaking a sweat, broad shoulders under her navy NYB jacket, boots planted firm on the cracked pavement, but tonight, her hands trembled just a fraction as she stared at the body sprawled against the overflowing dumpster. Female, mid-20s, throat slashed clean, eyes frozen wide in that final plea for mercy. Another dancer from the troupe, just like the one last month. Riley's jaw clenched, the scar on her cheek pulling tight. A souvenir from a domestic call gone sideways in the Bronx 3 years back. She hated these scenes. The vulnerability of it all, the way violence stripped people bare. Her radio crackled low, partners murmuring updates, but she tuned it out, crouching closer, the metallic tang of blood mixing with the earthy rot until it coated her tongue. Footsteps echoed from the stage door, light and hesitant, like someone testing the darkness. Riley's hand flew to her holster, instinct kicking in before reason. NYPD. Step into the light. The figure emerged, silhouette haloed by the emergency floodlights. Tall, willowy, wrapped in a black trench coat that did nothing to hide the curve of hips honed by years of pirouettes. Arya Voss. Riley knew the name from the case file, the star of the ballet company, the one who'd found the first victim. 28, with skin like polished porcelain and hair the color of sun-bleached wheat falling in loose waves to her waist. Her face was a storm of exhaustion and grief, green eyes shadowed, lips parted on a shaky exhale that carried across the alley like a whisper. I heard the call on the scanner, Arya said, voice soft but steady, laced with that faint Midwestern lilt. Ohio roots, Riley guessed from the file. She clutched a crumpled program from tonight's performance, fingers white-knuckled. Is it her? Lena. Riley rose slowly, holstering her piece, but her stance stayed guarded, muscles coiled. Up close, Arya smelled like vanilla and sweat, the residue of stage lights and exertion. It hit Riley like a gut punch, warm, alive, cutting through the death stink. Ma'am, this is an active scene. You can't. Please. Arya's gaze locked on Riley's, raw and unfiltered. A plea that bypassed protocol and lodged straight in Riley's chest. There was something electric in it. A spark that made the rain feel warmer. The night less oppressive. She was my understudy. My friend. I need to see. Riley hesitated, the weight of her badge pressing like an anchor. She was good at this, drawing lines, keeping the world at arm's length. Her last relationship, with a fellow cop named Jax, had ended in screams and shattered mugs 2 years ago, leaving her with walls thicker than Brooklyn brick. But those eyes, they pulled at her, unraveling the knot in her gut she'd ignored for months. With a sigh that rasped like sandpaper, Riley stepped aside, gesturing faintly. 2 minutes. Stay behind the tape. Arya nodded, slipping under the yellow barrier, her heels clicking soft against the puddles. She knelt by the body, breath hitching in a series of small broken sobs that echoed off the walls, wet, human sounds that made Riley's throat tighten. The dancer reached out, then pulled back, fingers hovering like she could will life back into the stillness. Rain pattered on Arya's coat, beating like tears on her lashes. Riley watched, arms crossed, the chill seeping through her jacket. She should call it in, secure the witness, move on. But she didn't. Instead, she murmured, "I'm sorry. For your loss." The words felt clumsy, too small for the ache carving hollows under Arya's eyes. Arya looked up, mascara streaked but fierce. "You don't know me, Detective Hayes. Riley Hayes." She extended a hand, gloved and steady, though her pulse betrayed her, thudding against her ribs like a trapped bird. Arya. Their palms met, cool silk against worn leather, and for a split second the alley faded. Just skin on skin, a current humming low and insistent, the kind that promised trouble. Arya's grip lingered, her thumb brushing Riley's knuckle in a ghost of a caress. "Thank you. For letting me. For being kind." Riley pulled away first, heat crawling up her neck. "It's my job." Lie. Her job was facts, not feelings. Not this pull, magnetic and dangerous, toward a woman whose world of spotlights and applause was light years from Riley's shadows and sirens. By the time forensics arrived, the rain had thickened, drumming a relentless tattoo on the awnings. Arya stood, coat sodden but her chin lifted, that dancer's poise reclaiming her like armor. Will you catch him? The one doing this? Riley met her gaze, the promise forming unbidden. Yeah, I will. It was more than protocol. It was personal now, etched in the way Arya's lips curved, just a fraction hopeful in the downpour. They parted with numbers exchanged under the guise of follow-up, but as Riley slid into her unmarked Crown Vic, engine rumbling to life with a throaty growl, she gripped the wheel too tight. The wipers slashed back the rain, but not the image burned behind her eyes. Arya's hand in hers warm against the cold. What the hell was that? Back at the precinct in downtown Manhattan, the bullpen buzzed with fluorescent hum and coffee bitterness, stale from the pot that hadn't been cleaned since summer. Riley shrugged off her jacket, the fabric heavy with damp, and dropped into her desk chair, the vinyl creaking under her weight. Files piled like accusations. Victim 1 Elena Ruiz found gutted in her dressing room after a gala. Now Lena, throat open like a crimson smile. Both dancers from Arya's company. Both with notes pinned to their coats, snippets of poetry twisted and obsessive. Your grace haunts my nights. The latest read, inked in looping script. Her partner Marco Ruiz, no relation to the Vic, thank God, leaned over the partition, tie askew, mustache twitching. You look like shit, Hayes. Alley cat drag you through a puddle. Riley snorted, rubbing her temples where a headache bloomed, sharp as glass. Something like that. Got a witness, lead dancer. She's shaken but sharp. Thinks it's connected. Marco whistled low, flipping through photos on his screen, the glow casting harsh shadows on his weathered face. Voss, right? Saw her in Swan Lake last spring. Legs for days. You get her statement. Essentials. Riley's mind replayed the alley. Arya's sob, the vanilla scent lingering on her glove. She peeled it off, inhaling subtly, faint, floral. Damn it. Focus. She's our best bet for patterns. Stalkers fixate. She'll know if anyone's been off. He nodded, oblivious, clapping her shoulder with a meaty hand that smelled of pastrami. Good. Captain's riding our asses. Press is sniffing around, calling it the ballerina butcher. We cracked this, we're golden. Riley forced a grin, but it died quick. Golden. As if her life needed more shine. She joined the force at 22, fresh out of the academy, chasing the hero rush her old man had drilled into her. Retired sergeant, RIP to a heart attack in 18. But 14 years in, it was just grind. Domestics that bruised your soul, perps that slipped cuffs like smoke. And the quiet nights, alone in her Astoria walk-up, where the silence pressed in, heavy as regret. She pulled up Arya's file on her laptop, the screen's blue light harsh against the dim. Born in Cleveland, scholarship to Juilliard, soloist by 24. Photos. Her in tutu and point shoes mid-leap, body a arc of defiance against gravity. Stunning. Riley's finger hovered over the print command, then stopped. What was she doing? This wasn't personal. But it was. The next morning dawned gray, the East River shrouded in mist as Riley pounded pavement outside the theater, nursing a black coffee from the cart on the corner. Bitter, scalding grounds gritty on her tongue. Rehearsal started at 8. She'd catch Arya before the troops scattered. The city woke around her. Horns blaring from the bridge, vendors hawking bagels with that yeasty warmth cutting the damp, joggers pounding by in neon shoes, breaths puffing white. The stage door swung open, spilling laughter and the faint strains of Tchaikovsky from within. Dancers emerged in leggings and hoodies, lithe forms moving like smoke. Then Arya, ponytail swinging, duffel over one shoulder, face pale but composed. She spotted Riley, faltered mid-step, green eyes widening. Detective Hayes. No fear, just that quiet intensity. Like she was memorizing Riley's lines before they were spoken. Riley. Please. She set the cup down on a nearby crate, steam curling lazy. Got questions? Mind if we walk? I hate standing still. Arya's lips quirked, a ghost smile. Lead the way. They fell into step along the waterfront, the path crunching underfoot with fallen leaves, slick and coppery scented. Gulls wheeled overhead, cries sharp against the lap of waves. Riley dove in, notebook out, pen scratching. Anyone stand out? Obsessive fans, exes with grudges. The questions flowed easy, professional, but her eyes traced the line of Aria's throat, the pulse fluttering there like a trapped moth. Aria hugged her arms, breath visible in the chill. There's this guy, board member Victor Hale. Always too close at galas, hands lingering. She shivered, not from cold. Riley caught it, the fine tremor in her voice. But the notes, they're intimate. Like he knows my routines, my solos. Riley nodded, jotting Hale's name, the pen digging ink deep. We'll pull his records. You safe? Got someone watching your back? A pause, heavy as the fog rolling in. Aria stopped, turning to face her, the river's murmur underscoring the silence. No. I live alone. Upper West Side walk-up. It's quiet. Her eyes searched Riley's, vulnerable, a crack in the grace. But last night when you let me see her, it felt less alone. Heat bloomed low in Riley's belly, unbidden, sharp as adrenaline. She stepped closer, too close, the space between them humming with unsaid things. If you need anything, ride home, check in, call me. Anytime. Aria's hand brushed Riley's arm, light as a breath, sending sparks skittering up her spine. I will. The touch lingered, electric, until a horn blared from the street, shattering it. They parted with awkward nods, but as Riley watched Aria disappear into the subway grate, ponytail bobbing like a beacon, she knew it. This case, this woman, it was unraveling her thread by thread. That night in her apartment, the radiator hissed like an old lover's sigh, steam fogging the window overlooking the rumbling 7 train. Riley paced the linoleum, cool under bare feet, a tumbler of bourbon in hand. Smooth burn down her throat, chasing the day's chill. The file on Aria lay open on the kitchen table, photos fanned like cards in a losing hand. She traced one with her finger. Aria in point, arms flung wide, face alight with joy that bordered on pain. Her phone buzzed. Marco. Hale's clean. Alibi's ironclad. Dig deeper? She typed back on it, then stared at the screen, thumb hovering over contacts. Aria's number glowed, entered that morning. Stupid. But the alley replayed, that grip, that scent. With a curse under her breath, raspy and low, Riley hit call. It rang twice. Riley. Aria's voice, soft, surprised, threaded with sleep. In the background, the faint tick of a clock, the distant wail of a siren, city lullaby. Couldn't sleep. You. A rustle of sheets, intimate, making Riley's skin prickle. Nightmares. Lena's face. Keeps dancing in my head. Riley sank onto the couch, the springs groaning. Tell me about her. Helps sometimes. Talking it out. And Aria did. Words spilling like rain. Lena's laugh, sharp and infectious. Her secret stash of chocolates in the wings. The way she'd mimic the director's tantrums to break tension. Riley listened, bourbon forgotten. The knot in her chest loosening with each shared breath. Aria's voice wove through the line, warm against the cold room, until pauses stretched, heavy with what wasn't said. Riley. Aria whispered, finally, tentative. Why'd you call? Truth clawed up raw. Because your voice. It's the only thing quieting the noise in my head tonight. Silence, then a soft inhale, shaky. Stay on the line? Just till I sleep. Riley's heart stuttered, a drumbeat against ribs. Yeah, till morning. They talked till dawn crept in, gray light filtering through blinds, the train's rumble fading to birdsong outside. No confessions, just stories. Riley's first bust, a teenage shoplifter with scared eyes. Aria's audition nerves, palms slick on the bar. Small threads weaving, fragile but real. By the time they hung up, voice hoarse, Riley felt it. The shift. Not just a witness, a case. Something alive, terrifying, blooming in the dark. 2 weeks blurred into a frenzy of stakeouts and dead ends. The city a beast that never slept, its pulse throbbing through Riley's veins like bad caffeine. The precinct smelled of burnt toast and printer ink, the air thick with the low growl of printers and murmured curses. Riley hunched over her desk, eyes burning from screens, the third pot of coffee sloshing lukewarm in her mug, acrid with that faint char of overbrewed grounds. The notes had multiplied. 3 more slipped into dressing rooms, each more fevered. Your turns mock my stillness. One read, paper crisp as fresh snow. Forensics traced ink to a common brand, useless as a screen door on a submarine. Marco paced behind her, boots scuffing the worn carpet, his cologne cheap sandalwood, clashing with the stale air. We gotta bring in the whole troop, he said, rubbing his neck where stress knotted it red. Someone's talking or hiding. Riley nodded, but her mind snagged on Arya. They'd fallen into a rhythm. Daily check-ins that started professional, any weird mail, and veered personal, voices dropping low over takeout wrappers or post-rehearsal stretches. Last night on Riley's fire escape, chain link rattling in the wind off the river, Arya had leaned close, shoulder brushing Riley's, sharing a cigarette she'd bummed, smoke curling lazy, tasting of cloves and regret. I feel you watching me on stage, Arya had murmured, exhaling slow, the words hanging like mist. Like you're the only one seeing. Riley had choked on her drag. Cough harsh, lungs burning. Habit. Cop thing. Lie. It was hunger plain and sharp, for the way Arya moved. Fluid, unbroken, everything Riley's body wasn't. Now staring at the board pinned with crime scene glossies, the images blurred. Blood arcs like abstract art, faces slack in death. One photo caught her. Arya's headshot from the program taped crooked, her smile a slash of light. Riley's finger grazed it, thumb smudging the edge. Hayes. Captain Landry's voice boomed from the doorway, gravel rough from 40 years of chain smoking. He was a bear of a man, gut straining his shirt, eyes sharp as tacks under bushy brows. My office. Now. She followed, the hallway fluorescent buzz drilling into her skull, posters of missing kids peeling at the corners. Landry's space was a warren of file boxes and yellowed memos, the window overlooking the yard where patrol cars idled, exhaust fumes wafting up sour. He dropped into his swivel chair, the leather sighing deep, and gestured her to sit. You're too close to Voss, he said, no preamble, folding meaty hands on the desk scarred from coffee rings. Partners are noticing. Calls at odd hours, showing up at rehearsals unannounced. Smells like conflict. Riley's spine stiffened, boots scraping the linoleum. She's key, Cap knows the victims, the routines. It's thorough. His gaze pinned her, unblinking. Thorough's one thing. Personal's another. You got history with dancers? Exes in tights. A grunt half-laugh. Just saying keep it clean. This butcher prick's escalating. Last note mentioned Voss by name. My Odetta waits. We pull her in for protection, she stays at a safe house. Your call, but make it by the book. Riley's mouth went dry, tongue sticking. Protection. Isolate Arya in some sterile box upstate. Away from the city that fueled her art. Away from them. She's got shows. Can't cage her. Landry leaned forward, chair creaking. Cage or coffin, Hayes? Choose. Out in the hall, pulse hammering like a fist, Riley punched the vending machine. Thunk of metal, a candy bar tumbling free, chocolate smeared on the glass. She snatched it, wrapper crinkling loud in the quiet, and bit in savage, the sweetness cloying against bile. Her phone vibrated. Arya. Rehearsal running late. Dinner after? My treat, pierogies at that spot on Avenue A. Fingers flying, Riley typed. Can't. Work. Delete. Sounds perfect. 8. The theater that evening thrummed with life. The air backstage a cocktail of rosin, dust and perfume, sharp and heady. Riley flashed her badge at security, a burly guy named Gus with a neck like a tree trunk, and slipped into the wings, the stage lights baking heat that peeled paint from the flats. Music swelled from the pit, violins keening, drums a heartbeat, and there was Arya center stage, lost in a pas de deux that wasn't on the program. Her partner was a wiry guy, Tomas, all sinew and precision, but Riley's eyes fixed on her. Leotard clinging like second skin, sweat gleaming on collarbones, every extension a sigh of longing. Arya spun, arms carving air, body arching in surrender. Grace weaponized, beautiful and brutal. The lift came. Tomas hoisting her high, Aria's legs scissoring, then releasing in a flutter that stole breath. She landed soft, chest heaving and turned straight into Riley's gaze from the shadows. The music crashed to halt, dancers murmuring, but Aria didn't break stride. She patted over, point shoes whispering on wood, face flushed, tendrils of hair plastered damp. Up close she glowed, vanilla mingling with salt. You came. Not a question, breathy eyes devouring. Riley swallowed, throat clicking. Couldn't stay away. Truth slipping free like a loose thread. They escaped into the night, the city a neon vein pulsing around them. Taxis honking wet, steam rising from grates like ghosts. The pierogi joint on Avenue A was a hole in the wall, formica tables sticky, air thick with frying fat and dill. They slid into a booth, vinyl cracking under them, menus grease-spotted. Aria ordered for them, potato and cheese, extra sour cream. Her foot brushing Riley's under the table, accidental on purpose. Tell me something real, she said over the sizzle from the kitchen, fork poised. Not cop stories. You. Riley poked at her plate, steam curling hot, the dough yielding soft. Bite. Warm, pillowy, cheese oozing. Grew up in Queens. Dad was NYPD, mom waitress doubles. Learned to throw a punch before I could read. She paused, fork scraping ceramic, the sound grating. Always the fixer. Save the day, keep the peace. Sucks when you can't fix yourself. Aria's gaze softened, green depths pulling. She reached across, fingers lacing Riley's. Calluses rough from grips, nails short and practical against Aria's dancer's grace, long and tapered. Who says you're broken? The touch ignited, slow burn spreading. Riley's breath caught, ragged. Experience. Jax's face flashed, blue eyes cold, words like shrapnel. You're too hard, Riley. Like loving concrete. But Aria squeezed, thumb stroking knuckle. Then let me show you soft. They lingered till closing, bell tinkling mournful as the owner shooed them out. On the sidewalk, wind whipping sharp off the East River. Aria turned, coat flapping like wings. My place? It's close. Riley's heart jackhammered, blood roaring. Aria. A finger to lips, soft pressure. No thinking. Just now. The walk up on 78th was a narrow brownstone. Stairs creaking under their steps. The banister smooth from generations of hands. Aria's door stuck, wood swollen from humidity. She jimmied it with a hip bump, laughing low, throaty, inviting. Inside. Chaos of beauty. Bars bolted to walls, mirrors fogged from recent shower. Air scented with lavender oil and old books stacked haphazard. A single bulb swung lazy, casting gold pools. They stood there, coats shedding like skins, the space shrinking around them. Aria stepped close, hands framing Riley's face. Cool palms on heated cheeks. I've wanted this since the alley, she whispered, breath mint fresh against Riley's mouth. Your strength. It undoes me. Riley's resolve cracked, a fault line. She leaned in, lips brushing, tentative, soft, exploratory, tasting of sour cream and promise. Then deeper, Aria yielding with a moan that vibrated through them, low and needy. Hands roamed. Riley's under Aria's shirt, tracing ribs like piano keys, skin fever warm. Aria's tugging Riley's tee free, nails grazing scars reverent. They tumbled to the futon, springs protesting, bodies tangling in a rush of limbs and gasps. Aria arched, whispering Riley's name like prayer. Riley, yes, as fingers delved, slick and sure. Riley lost herself in the rhythm, the salt of sweat on tongue. The hitch of breath when she found that spot, curling just so. Climax built slow, then shattered. Aria's cry muffled against Riley's neck, body quaking, pulling Riley over the edge in waves that left her boneless, spent. After, tangled in sheets that smelled of clean cotton and them, Aria traced Riley's scar, touch featherlight. Who did this? Riley sighed, chest rising heavy. Perp with a knife. Back in 22. Healed mostly. Aria kissed it, lips lingering. Beautiful still. Sleep came fitful, dreams laced with blood and ballet slippers stained red. Riley woke to dawn light slanting through blinds. Aria curled against her. Breath even, lashes fanning cheeks. For a moment peace, birdsong trilling outside. coffee perking somewhere below. Then her phone buzzed, insistent. Marco, new note. At the theater. It's bad. Get here. Riley slipped free, dressing quiet, boots whispering on floorboards. She paused at the door, watching Arya stir, eyes fluttering open, sleep hazed soft. Go catch him, Arya murmured, stretching languid, sheet pooling at waist. But come back. Riley nodded, throat tight. Promise. The theater was a hive of panic. Yellow tape fluttering like caution flags. Techs in white suits swarming like ants. The note was pinned to Arya's mirror in the dressing room. Tonight you dance for me alone. Or join the swans in silence. Riley's stomach twisted, acid rising. Marco met her at the door, face grim, stubble silver in the light. Handwriting matches. Prints wiped, but we got CCTV blurry shadow, male build, exiting stage left. Riley scanned the room. Lipstick tubes scattered. A single rose wilted on the vanity, petals bruised. Arya's scent clung, vanilla, faint. Voss knows. Not yet. Briefing the company now. He eyed her, brow furrowing. You okay? Look like you saw a ghost. Fine. Lie again. She wasn't. This monster had clawed into their fragile thing, teeth bared. The troupe gathered in the green room, chairs scraping, murmurs hushed. Arya sat front row, legs crossed, but her hands twisted in her lap, knuckles blanching. When Riley entered, their eyes met, charged, a silent hold on. Ladies, Riley started, voice steady, projecting cop authority. We're increasing patrols. No solos after dark. Report anything off. Pauses for nods, the room's air thick with fierce sweat and perfume. After, as dancers filed out, Arya lingered, voice low. He knows about me. Us. Riley's gut clenched. Not yet. But stay close. Safe house. No. Arya's eyes flashed fierce. I won't hide. This is my stage. Our fight. Riley pulled her into an alcove, shadows cool, hearts pounding tandem. Then we fight together. Lips met, brief, fierce, brushed and gone, but enough to steal them. That night, stakeout in Riley's car, parked curbside near the theater, engine idling low with a purr that vibrated seats. Rain-pattered roof, wipers swishing rhythmic. Arya huddled in the passenger seat, borrowed hoodie swallowing her frame, coffee steaming between them, hazelnut, sweet. Ever think about quitting? Arya asked, fogging the window with breath, drawing a heart in the mist that smeared quick. Riley chuckled dry. Every shift. But then, who saves the swans? Arya turned, gaze piercing. You do. My knight in Kevlar. Laughter bubbled, light, cutting tension. But as hours ticked, darkness pressing, Riley's hand found Arya's, lacing tight. The city hummed outside, alive and lethal, but here, in this metal cocoon, they were armor for each other. Till the shadow moved. The figure detached from the alley, mouth like ink bleeding into water, hooded and hunched against the downpour that hammered the windshield in relentless sheets. Riley's grip tightened on the wheel, leather creaking, her free hand signaling silence to Arya. Palm flat, eyes locked in the dash glow. The radio hissed static, Marco's voice a ghost. Nothing on east side. You? Negative, Riley murmured, voice pitched low, gravel rough from disuse. She killed the engine with a twist, the sudden quiet amplifying the rain's roar, thunder rumbling distant like a predator's growl. The man, mid-40s, lanky build under a soaked peacoat, paused at the stage door, fumbling keys that glinted wet under the security lamp. Too deliberate, too calm for a junkie or fanboy. Arya's breath hitched shallow, her thigh pressing Riley's in the confines. Warmth seeping through denim, grounding. That's him, she whispered, barely audible, green eyes wide but steely. The way he moves. Like he's choreographing his steps. Riley nodded once, sharp, adrenaline spiking sweet and metallic on her tongue. She unholstered slow, the Glock slide a soft snick that echoed in her skull. Stay put. Lock doors. Her tone brooked no argument, but Arya's hand clamped her wrist, nails digging crescents. Like hell. Defiant, that dancer's fire. He's after me. We end this together. Riley's protest died, swallowed by the pull in those eyes. Trust raw and unyielding. Fine. But behind me. Weapon. Arya shook her head, ponytail swaying. Just these. She flexed fingers callous from ribbons and reps, a wry twist to her lips. They slipped out into the deluge, doors thunking soft, water sheeting cold down collars. The air bit sharp, ozone-tanged, pavement slick under boots that sucked mud. Riley led, body low, gun extended two-handed. Sights trained on the door now ajar. Metal groaning on hinges, spilling yellow light like spilled honey. Inside, the lobby loomed empty, ticket stubs crunching underfoot like brittle leaves. The faint echo of a phantom audience in the high ceilings. Water dripped from their clothes, pooling dark, the scent of mildew rising cloying. Riley swept the space, barrel arcing smooth. Velvet ropes limp, posters curling at edges, Swan Lake. Final act, the man's shadow stretching long across the faded carpet. A creak from the auditorium. Riley advanced, Arya ghosting her steps, breath synced in ragged harmony. The double doors parted silent on well-oiled tracks, revealing the house. Rows of seats shrouded in dust sheets, stage curtains heavy as funeral veils, the pit dark and yawning. Spotlights hummed faint, standby mode, casting pools of amber that danced with rain shadows through high windows. There. Arya's murmur, arm pointing, stage left wing, a flicker of movement, coat flapping like a raven's wing. Riley pivoted, boots thudding hollow. NYPD. Freeze. Hands up. The man whirled, face gaunt under hood, eyes wild, pupils blown, cheeks hollowed by obsession's hunger. Victor Hale, board chair, philanthropist facade cracked. In his fist a knife glinted, serrated edge catching light, droplets beating red from a fresh nick on his palm. Self-inflicted ritual. You. His voice cracked, reedy, laced with mania. The Guardian. But she's mine. My Odette. Black Swan eternal. Arya stepped forward, voice steady despite the tremor Riley felt in her grip. Victor. Please. This isn't the dance you want. He laughed, bark harsh, echoing off proscenium. You mock me. All of you twirling untouchable. But I see. The notes. My verses for your beauty. He lunged, knife slashing air with a whistle, coat parting to reveal a chest smeared with ink. Poems scrawled in frantic script, bleeding from rain. Riley fired, crack splitting the air, muzzle flash blooming orange. The bullet grazed his shoulder, bloom of red on wool, spinning him back with a yelp that curdled into rage. He charged, knife thrusting wild, aiming for Arya who dodged, lithe body memory kicking in, pirouette twist, heel scraping wood. Down. Riley tackled, bodies colliding in a tangle of limbs and grunts, the impact jarring her teeth. They rolled, stage floor unyielding, dust puffing acrid. Hale's weight pinned her, breath hot and foul. Onions in desperation. Knife arm rearing, high muscles corded. Arya screamed. Raw, visceral, diving in, grabbing his wrist with both hands, nails raking deep. No. Her leverage yanked, dancer's core unyielding. But he shook her off like a rag, sending her sprawling, elbow cracking on the lip of the pit. Rage ignited Riley white-hot. She bucked, knee driving up into his groin, soft give, his howl piercing. Momentum flipped them, Riley atop, fists slamming his jaw with a meaty thud, stars bursting in her vision. The knife clattered free, skittering across boards, but Hale's hand clawed her throat, fingers vice-tight, nails gouging. Spots danced, lungs burning empty. Arya. Gurgle of plea. Then Arya was there, shadow and fury, snatching the knife, blade flashing as she pressed it to his neck, shallow nick weeping crimson. Let go. Hale froze, eyes bulging, the fight draining like air from a punctured lung. Sirens wailed distant, closing fast, back up finally. Riley gasped free, coughing wet, throat bruised fire. Marco burst through doors minutes later, cuffs clicking. Hale dragged away sputtering curses that dissolved into sobs. In the aftermath, medics swarmed, lights strobing harsh, the air metallic with cordite and blood. Riley sat on the stage edge, ice packed to neck, watching Arya get her elbow splinted, purple bloom already, But she waved off painkillers, green eyes fixed on Riley, fierce and tender. "You saved me," Riley rasped, voice sandpaper rough, reaching for her hand. Skin met, sticky with sweat and grime but anchoring. "We saved each other." Aria's smile cracked, wobbly, tears carving tracks through dust on cheeks. "Partners." The precinct debrief dragged till dawn, fluorescents buzzing like angry wasps, coffee gone cold and bitter in styrofoam. Landry clapped Riley's back. Rare praise, his grunt almost warm. "Good work, Hayes. Clean takedown." Marco grinned over donuts, powdered sugar dusting his mustache. "Told ya Voss is gold. You two. Synced like pros." Riley flushed, hiding it in her mug, the sip scalding her raw throat. Synced. Understatement. That night replayed in loops. Aria's dive, the knife's gleam, the way her body had moved. Not just survival but art in crisis. She drove Aria home, streets gleaming post-rain, puddles mirroring sodium lamps in fractured gold. The brownstone loomed quiet, steps slick. At the door, key fumbling in Aria's shaking hand, Riley caught her wrist. "Stay with me tonight? My place. No arguments." Aria turned, moonlight silvering her face, exhaustion etching lines soft. "Only if you promise breakfast. Real food, not that cop slop." "Deal." Laughter bubbled, fragile, healing. Riley's Astoria apartment felt different with Aria in it. Clutter softened, the air less stale. They showered tandem, water pounding hot, steam veiling mirrors, soap sudsing slick between palms as hands explored anew. Careful over bruises, reverent on scars. No rush, just mapping. Riley's thumb circling Aria's elbow, eliciting a hiss that melted to sigh. Aria's lips on Riley's throat, kissing purple blooms. Bed claimed them gentle, sheets twisting as bodies aligned, slow friction building like a crescendo. Whispers wove. Here more breath sinking in gasps that peaked shared. Shuddering release leaving them limp, entwined. Sleep followed deep, dreamless, Aria's head on Riley's chest, heartbeat lullaby. Morning broke with sun slicing blinds, golden shafts dusting the room in warmth. Coffee perked. Dark roast, grounds fresh, aroma rich and grounding. They ate at the Formica counter. Eggs scrambled soft, toast buttered thick, the sizzle and clink domestic surreal. "So," Aria said around a bite, yolk dripping golden, eyes sparkling over the rim of her mug. "What now? For us?" Riley paused, fork midway, the weight settling. Not fear but possibility. "We date. Real. Dinners, walks, no hiding behind badges or bar." Aria's foot hooked her calf under the table, playful nudge. "And the world? My company's all whispers. Voss and the cop. Your precinct." Riley shrugged, grin crooked. "Let him talk. I'm done with closets." Truth blooming tentative. Jax had outed her once, bar fight words slurring public. Riley had buried it deep. But Aria. She was sunlight pulling weeds. They ventured out that afternoon, hand in hand down Ditmars Boulevard. Bodega cats stretching lazy, vendors hawking falafel with cumin spice wafting hot. Stares followed. An old Polish lady clucking approval, teens snickering then shrugging. Riley's spine straightened gradual, the grip in Aria's palm a tether. The Riverwalk called, benches worn smooth, gulls scavenging crumbs with pecks sharp. They sat close, thighs pressing, watching fairies slice water choppy. Aria leaned head on shoulder, hair tickling Riley's jaw, silky sun-warmed. "I almost lost this," she murmured, voice thread soft against wind. "You." Riley's arm circled waist, pulling flush. "Never." Kiss pressed temple, lingering salt taste of skin. Weeks folded into rhythm. Rehearsals where Riley lurked wings, badge holstered but presence shield. Shifts where Aria texted photos, selfies mid-ply, captions winking miss your steady. Dates wove normal. Jazz club in Harlem, sax wailing bluesy over candle flicker, fingers laced under tablecloth. Picnic in Prospect Park, blankets rumpled, grapes tart on tongues shared. But cracks showed subtle. A review in the Post, Voss's grace guarded by blue? Snide, insinuating. Marco's jokes turned probing. "You two official?" Bring her to the barbecue. Riley deflected, laughed tight, the old walls itching. One night, post-show, the dressing room mirror reflected back fractured. Arya in robe, silk makeup smudged, Riley toweling, hair damp from rain outside. Laughter died as Arya's phone chimed. Email from director. Rumors affecting ticket sales. Discretion advised. Arya's face crumpled, shoulders slumping. They want me. Contained. Riley pulled her close, chin atop head, inhaling lavender. Screw 'em. We're not a subplot. But doubt seeded, thorny. Winter clamped New York in iron jaws, snow drifting lazy over rooftops, the city muffled under white shrouds that crunched under boots like fresh lies. Riley's breath plumed visible as she trudged to the precinct. Collar turned against wind that howled off the harbor, carrying brine and bite. Inside, the bullpen steamed with body heat, desks piled with holiday cards ironic against the grind. Peace on earth, scrawled over unsolveds. Her promotion came quiet. Detective first grade, Landry's handshake firm, eyes approving. Earned it, Hayes. That butcher bust? Textbook. Paperwork shuffled, pen scratching dry, but Riley's mind wandered to Arya. Rehearsing Nutcracker downtown, her Clara a whirlwind of tulle and triumph. They'd navigated the whispers, Arya's company thawing gradual, a stagehand's wink turning warm, Riley's crew ribbing gentle, Marco toasting at O'Grady's with foam-cloaked pints. To the badge and the ballet. Laughter rang, glasses clinking, the pub's peat smoke curling thick. But tension simmered low. Arya's elbow healed crooked. A faint hitch in extensions that directors noted with frowns pursed. Favorite less. One barked, voice clipped over piano trills. Nights in bed. Arya would need it absently, face distant, murmuring lines from scripts half forgotten. You're pulling away, Riley said one evening, kitchen light harsh on counters scarred from knives. Pasta boiled over, steam hissing, tomato sauce bubbling red as old wounds. Arya stood at the sink, rinsing greens, water rushing cold. No. Denial quick, but eyes evaded, green depths clouded. Just. The season. Pressure. Riley stepped close, hands on hips slim, thumbs circling bone. Talk to me. We're in this. Arya turned off the tap, drip echoing loud and quiet. They offered me principal Giselle spring run. But whispers. Distraction. Your job us. It's costing. Riley's chest hollowed, ache blooming slow. Then what? Hide again. A shake of head, hair swaying. No. But maybe. Space. Till it quiets. The word landed like frost, chilling. Riley nodded numb, plating food mechanical. Fork scraping china later, bites tasteless, wine tart on tongue. Bed that night was a chasm, backs turned, sheets cool between. Days stretched taut. Shifts pulled Riley deep. Holiday surge, domestic spiking with eggnog tempers. Screams echoing in tenements, fists bruising knuckles. She crashed at the precinct cot some nights. Fluorescent hum lulling, dreams fractured with Arya's leap. Knife flash. Christmas Eve found her solo, tree lights twinkling pathetic in the window, strings tangled. Takeout Chinese steamed open on the coffee table, fortune cookie crumbling. Love dances on hidden stages. She snorted, paper rustling, but tears pricked hot. Phone silent till midnight, Arya. Outside. Let me in. Door swung wide, snowflakes melting on lashes. Arya bundled in wool, cheeks rosy. Couldn't stay away. Arms wrapped tight, cold seeping through but warmth beneath. They thawed slow. Cocoa steaming on mugs, marshmallows bobbing. The TV murmuring it's a wonderful life in black and white glow. Arya curled knees to chest on the couch, head on Riley's lap, fingers tracing veins on forearm. Blue rivers under skin. I panicked, she admitted, voice small against laugh track tinny. The role. It's everything. But without you. Empty stage. Riley's hand stilled in hair, silk threading fingers. You're my everything. Badge or no? Kisses followed soft, escalating. Lips parting, tongues tentative then bold, hands shedding layers, sweater pooling, skin goose pimpled in draft. They moved to bed unhurried, exploring reclaimed. Aria's mouth on breasts, suckling gentle till Riley arched, moan low. Riley's fingers parting folds, stroking languid, drawing whimpers that built to crescendo, bodies slick and synced. Dawn brought gifts unwrapped. For Aria, a locket etched with swans entwined, chain cool on collarbone. For Riley, point shoes worn inscribed inside. Step light, love fierce. Laughter peeled free. Spring unfurled green, cherry blossoms shedding pink confetti on paths. Giselle open to raves, Aria ethereal in white gauze. Her will to heartbreak that left audiences hushed, tears silent. Riley front row, badge pinned proud, applause thundering as curtain fell, roses raining. Backstage, chaos joyful. Hugs crushing, champagne fizzing over brims. Aria emerged, makeup kissed off, in jeans and tea soft, pulling Riley into alcove dim. You came. Always. Lips met salt sweet, crowd roar fading. But life layered deeper. Aria's elbow acted in damp, rehearsals cut short. Directors murmured retirements premature. Adapt, they said, scripts revising roles smaller. One rainy matinee, post-curtain, Aria collapsed in wings, knee buckling, pain lancing white. Hospital lights glared sterile, beep steady, doctor's words clinical. Tear. Surgery, rehab. 6 months out. Riley held her hand through it. For drip cold on skin, morphine slurring Aria's edges. I'll dance again? Modified. But yes. Pause heavy. Consider teaching. Your gifts in the giving. Nights blurred. Hospital jellies wobbling untouched, takeout congealing. Riley's shifts have to bedside vigils. Reading aloud from dog-eared scripts. Voices weaving tales of lovers lost and found. Homebound, Aria paced the apartment, crutches clicking metronomic, mirrors propped for makeshift bar. Frustration boiled. Tears hot on cheeks, curses flung at reflections mocking. Useless, she'd snap, collapsing onto the futon, face buried in palms. Riley knelt then, knees to rug worn, hands cupping face tear-streaked. You're not. Warrior. My warrior. Intimacy shifted tender. Baths drawn steaming, sponges gliding soap slick, kisses trailing bandages. Nights where touch soothed, fingers circling aches till sleep claimed gentle. Rehab ground slow, sessions in a Chelsea studio echoing with grunts and thuds. Mats springy underfoot, mirrors merciless. Aria progressed. Cane to limp to tentative steps, Riley shadowing, coffee runs with lids popping soft. A year post-butcher, spring again, Aria's first class. Young dancers wide-eyed, clustering round her demos, extensions modified but soul intact. Feel it here, she'd say, hand on solar plexus, voice resonant. The story's in the breath. Riley watched from the door, arms crossed loose, pride swelling chest. Afterward, over gelato dripping cones, pistachio green on tongues, they walked Central Park, paths dappled sun. Ducks quacking lazy on ponds. Teaching suits you, Riley said, spooning a bite, cold crunch. Aria leaned into side, hip bumping. Our story. It's the best one. Picnic that summer under oaks shading grass tickly. Sandwiches crusty, wine chilled in thermos, laughter spilling easy. Aria's head in lap, Riley braiding hair loose, fingers combing waves. Marry me. Words slipped casual but heart thudded wild. Aria sat bolt upright, eyes saucer-wide, then dissolving to joy, tears sparkling. Yes. God yes. Wedding came autumnal, leaves flaming red gold. City hall simple, vows murmured low, in shadows and spotlights I choose you. Rings exchanged cool, engraving inside. Shadows dance free. Reception at the theater, stage cleared for toasts and twirls. Marco's speech slurring sentimental, Landry's grunt approving. Years layered. Aria's studio bloomed, classes packed with dreamers. Riley's sergeant stripes mentoring rookies green. Home filled gradual, plants thriving on sills, photos pinned. Alley first meet grainy, stage kisses blurred. One evening, rooftop under stars smudged by city haze. Wine glasses chiming soft, Aria turned. Hand on belly subtle curve. We're having a baby. Adoption papers cleared. Riley's world tilted, joy crashing wave-like. arms enfolding tight. Our family. In the quiet after breaths mingling, the skyline twinkled promise. A story believed at last in every beat.